My fiancé said to me one day, "I need to talk to you, and this won't be easy for you." I was surprised and thought it might be an argument, but what she revealed completely broke my heart. Then, calmly, I played a game of my own that completely turned her world upside down. I'm 30 years old, and up until 3 months ago, I thought I had my life figured out. I'd been with my fiancée, let's call her Amanda, for 4 years. We met at a mutual friend's barbecue, hit it off immediately over terrible jokes and cheap beer, and within 6 months we were inseparable. She was funny, ambitious, beautiful, everything I thought I wanted. We got engaged last New Year's Eve at midnight, surrounded by friends, champagne, the whole deal. I went down on one knee in front of everyone, and she said yes while crying happy tears. The wedding was set for October, and we'd already booked the venue and sent save the dates. Life felt perfect. We had our routines, Sunday morning pancakes, Thursday date nights, inside jokes that made us laugh until we couldn't breathe. I thought we were solid. I thought we were building something real. It was a Tuesday evening when everything fell apart. I remember because I'd just gotten home from the gym around 6, still in my workout clothes, scrolling through my phone on the couch. Amanda came home earlier than usual, around 6:30. She usually worked until 7 or 8, so seeing her walk through the door that early caught me off guard. She had this look on her face, pale, nervous, like she was about to throw up. My first thought was that something happened to her parents, or maybe she got fired. She dropped her bag by the door, didn't even take off her shoes. She just stood there staring at me for a solid 10 seconds before walking over. She sat down across from me on the armchair, not next to me on the couch where she usually would, which should have been my first clue. "I need to talk to you," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "And this won't be easy for you." My stomach dropped. "Okay, what's going on? Are you all right?" She took a deep breath, and I watched her hands shake as she gripped the arms of the chair. "I've been seeing someone else." The room just stopped. I heard the words, but they didn't connect right away, like my brain refused to process what she'd just said. I stared at her, waiting for some kind of clarification that would make it not what it sounded like. "You've been what?" I finally said. "I've been having an affair. For about 7 months now." Her voice cracked, and tears started streaming down her face. "I'm so sorry. I never meant for it to happen, but I fell in love with him." 7 months. That meant it started back in April, right around her birthday. I'd thrown her a surprise party at our apartment. Her whole family came, her parents, her sister, her cousins. I'd spent weeks planning it, coordinating with everyone, making sure it was perfect. And apparently, during all of that, she was already with someone else. "Who?" I asked. My voice sounded flat, distant. "His name is Connor. I met him at work. He's in the marketing department." She was full-on crying now, mascara running down her cheeks, but I felt absolutely nothing watching her tears. I wanted to tell you sooner, but I didn't know how. I kept thinking it would just end on its own, but it didn't. And now I think I need to figure out what I really want. "Figure out what you want," I repeated slowly. "Are you fucking kidding me right now?" I know how this sounds, do you? Because it sounds like you've been lying to my face for more than half a year while I've been planning our wedding. It sounds like every time you said you loved me, every time we talked about buying a house or having kids, you were thinking about someone else. She flinched. "It's not like that. I do love you. I'm just confused." "You're confused." I laughed, but it came out bitter and hollow. "So what do you want from me right now? Permission? Forgiveness? What?" "I don't know," she whispered. "I just thought you deserved to know the truth." I stood up, my whole body shaking. "Get out." "What?" "Get the fuck out of my apartment. Right now. Go stay with your affair partner or a friend or your parents. I don't care. But you need to leave. Now." She started to argue, saying we needed to talk this through like adults, that we couldn't just throw away 4 years. But I was done. I physically couldn't look at her anymore. I walked into our bedroom, grabbed a duffel bag, and started throwing her things into it. Clothes, toiletries, whatever I could grab. "Stop it. You're being unreasonable," she shouted, following me. "I'm being unreasonable? I'm not the one who's been cheating for 7 months. I shoved the bag into her arms. "Leave. We'll figure out the rest later, but right now I need you gone." Eventually, after more crying and arguing, she left. I heard the door slam, heard her car start in the parking lot below, and then I was alone. I sat on the edge of our bed, my bed now, and stared at nothing until 3 in the morning. Update 1: the next few days were a blur. I called in sick to work Wednesday and Thursday, told my boss I had food poisoning. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep more than an hour or two at a time. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, heard her saying she'd fallen in love with someone else. My best friend, Tyler, showed up Thursday afternoon after I ignored his texts all day. He has a spare key for emergencies. He found me still in the same clothes from Tuesday, unshaven, the apartment a mess. He didn't say anything, just ordered pizza, made me shower, and sat with me while I told him everything. "You need to go scorched earth," he said immediately. "Tell everyone what she did." "I can't think about that right now," I said. But on Friday afternoon, something clicked. I was going through our shared cloud account, trying to separate our pictures. That's when I found a folder I didn't recognize. It was titled C, with a little heart emoji. My hands were shaking as I opened it. Pictures. Dozens of them. Amanda and this Connor guy at restaurants I recognized. Places I'd suggested we go, but she'd said she wasn't interested in. At the beach during a weekend she'd told me was a work conference. In hotel rooms. In bed together. There were screenshots of their text conversations too, saved like trophies. Hundreds of messages talking about their future together, talking about me like I was just an obstacle. In one message from June, he wrote, "Just a few more months, and you'll be free. Then we can stop sneaking around." She responded, "I know. I hate lying to him, but I can't leave yet. We already put down deposits for the wedding, and I don't want to lose all that money. After October, we can be together openly." Another message, from July. "He's sweet, but boring. I love him, but I'm not in love with him anymore. You make me feel alive." The deposits. I was worth the cost of a wedding venue. That's what our 4-year relationship had been reduced to. I screenshotted everything. Every single photo, every text conversation. I backed it all up in 3 different places. My computer, an external hard drive, and a separate cloud account she didn't have access to. Then I started making a plan. Update 2 by Monday morning. I'd calmed down enough to think strategically. The apartment we lived in? It was mine. I'd bought it 2 years ago using money I'd inherited from my grandfather. My name was on everything. She'd moved in about a year and a half ago and contributed to utilities and groceries, but she had no legal claim to it. I also realized she'd been using our shared credit card, the one we'd gotten specifically for wedding expenses, to take Connor out on dates. Hundreds of dollars at nice restaurants. Weekend hotel stays. I pulled up the statements and highlighted everything suspicious. Nearly $4,000 over 7 months, all spent on her affair. On Monday afternoon, I called a lawyer. The lawyer advised me to document everything, remove her access to shared accounts, and be prepared. By Wednesday, I'd done the following. Removed Amanda from our shared bank account, changed the locks on the apartment, completely legal since she wasn't on the lease, canceled the joint credit card, and compiled a detailed folder of evidence. I also called the wedding venue and photographer. Turns out we could get about 60% of our deposits back if we canceled more than 6 months out. I took the refunds, nearly $8,000 back in my account. Then I called Amanda. She'd been staying with her sister and had texted me a few times asking if we could talk things through. I told her we could meet for coffee on Saturday afternoon at a place near her sister's house. She showed up looking hopeful, like maybe I'd decided to forgive her. She'd done her hair, put on makeup, wore one of my favorite dresses. I almost felt bad. Almost. "Thank you for agreeing to meet," she said as she sat down, already reaching for my hand. I pulled it away. "I've been thinking a lot about us. I canceled the wedding," I said, cutting her off. Her face went completely white. "You what?" "I canceled everything. The venue, the photographer, the caterer. Got most of our money back." "Well, my money, since I paid for all of it." "You can't just do that without talking to me." "Actually, I can. My name was on all the contracts. It's done." I slid a manila folder across the table. "I also wanted to give you this." Her hands were shaking as she opened it. Inside were printed copies of all her photos and messages with Connor, along with a detailed breakdown of every charge she'd made on our shared credit card. Dates, locations, amounts, all highlighted. Nearly $4,000 over 7 months. "Where did you get these?" she whispered. "You left yourself logged into our shared cloud." Sloppy. I leaned back, keeping my voice calm. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to pay me back the $4,000 you stole. And yes, I'm calling it theft because that's exactly what it is. You used a card meant for our wedding to fund your affair." "I didn't steal." "Yes, you did. And if you don't pay me back, I'll file a police report and let them sort it out. I'll also make sure everyone we know, your family, our friends, your coworkers, gets a copy of this folder. I'll post it online. I'll send it to your HR department. Your choice." She was crying now, angry tears. "You're being cruel." "No, I'm being fair. You lied to me for 7 months. You planned to use me for a wedding then leave. You stole from me. This is me being generous. You have 2 weeks to get me the money. After that, I go public with everything." I stood up, left $20 on the table, and walked out. My hands were shaking, but I felt clearer than I had in weeks. Update 3: Amanda's sister called me 2 days later, absolutely furious, screaming about how I was ruining Amanda's life and how I should be more understanding. I let her finish, then said calmly, 7 months of calculated lying isn't a mistake, it's a choice. Then I hung up and blocked her number. Amanda ended up paying me back in full within 10 days. The money appeared in 2 payments, $2,500, then $1,500. I think Connor helped her, which is almost funny. She also sent me a long email apologizing and asking if we could ever be friends someday. I didn't respond. But the real kicker came about 3 weeks later. I got a message on social media from a woman I didn't know. Her name was Lauren, and her message said, "I think we need to talk about Connor Mitchell and Amanda." I called her immediately. Turns out, Connor was married. Had been for 6 years. He and Lauren had 2 kids, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. Amanda had no idea. Connor had told her he was divorced, that his ex-wife was crazy. All lies. Lauren found out about the affair when Connor's behavior got sloppy, and she checked his phone. She found Amanda's contact info and reached out to me after putting 2 and 2 together through social media. We met for coffee, compared notes, and laughed in that bitter way people do when they realize they've both been played. Lauren was filing for divorce and going for full custody. She asked if she could use my evidence folder in her custody case. I said absolutely and sent her everything. I also forwarded Lauren's contact information to Amanda with a simple message. "Thought you should know who you fell in love with. He's married with 2 kids. She never responded. Final update: it's been 3 months now since everything exploded. Amanda moved out of state to stay with family. I heard through mutual friends that things ended catastrophically with Connor once she found out he was married. Apparently, she confronted him at his office and made a massive scene. He got fired 3 days later. His wife took him to the cleaners in the divorce, full custody, child support, alimony, the works. As for me, I'm doing better than I thought I would. The first month was hell, not going to lie. But somewhere around week 6, I woke up and realized I felt lighter. The apartment was quieter, sure, but it was mine. I didn't have to wonder if I was being lied to. I didn't have to perform or compete for someone's attention. I've been going to therapy every week, which helps. I've been hitting the gym 5 days a week, reconnected with friends I'd lost touch with, and even went on a couple of dates last month. Nothing serious, just testing the waters. It felt weird, but not bad. The wedding would have been last weekend. Instead, I went hiking with some friends and didn't think about Amanda once until someone mentioned it later. That felt like progress. I don't know if I believe in closure, but I think I'm getting close to something like acceptance. I got played, I got hurt, but I survived. Some days are harder than others, but I'm not the guy sitting on his couch in shock anymore. I'm building something new, and it's all mine. Edit. A lot of people have been asking if I ever heard from Amanda again. She tried to reach out once about 2 months ago through a mutual friend, asking if I'd be willing to talk. I declined. There's nothing she could say that would change anything. Edit 2. For everyone asking about Connor. Yes, he really did get fired. The scene Amanda made brought attention to the fact that he'd been using company time for personal stuff. The company decided he was more trouble than he was worth.